What calls you onto the path of the beast? What real-world beastly myths does it tie into? Who guides them, and where could this calling come from? And what's the influence that's behind it that rises and falls in power as time moves on? I'm not saying it's a leader, but it's a calling. So let's try and find out. So, welcome back to the trenches, and let's begin. And a shout out to JDevs281. You were right, it was a Path of the Beast lore drop, which I'm delighted to go through. The beast has always been there. Kingdoms rise and topple, but the beast remains. It was there before man came to the wild places, and it is said that it will be there long after they are gone. In the ages when men prostrated themselves before graven images, they trembled before the beast. From the goat-headed Fomorians of Ira and the werewolves of Livonia to the Rakasa of India, the darkest tales of mankind tell of half-beasts with an unnatural craving for human flesh. So it seems the beast is some very old presence, maybe from the wild and the animals themselves, some presence that stays whilst humanity ebbs and flows around it. The Fomorians are a supernatural race that are usually monstrous. They're shown or depicted as sea raiders and giants, and interestingly are enemies of the Tuatha De Danann, who dwell in Otherworld. That's very much Ira lore. The werewolves of Livonia, well, I think you know the werewolves part, but this place Livonia is the territory of Livonia, roughly corresponding to present-day Latvia and Estonia. It was known as an abode for particularly vicious werewolves, and the Rakasa, feel free to correct my pronunciation there, of India, are dangerous beings in many beliefs. They live on Earth with supernatural powers. So, the beast has a broad influence across many faiths. Its claws reach across the world. But time ebbed and flowed, and the servants of the beast retreated before the march of civilization. As the world embraced the words of the prophet and the light of salvation, writing laws in tablets or stone and holy books, the path of the beast lay hidden in the trackless wilds of the world. The path was kept alive in the memory of those ancient ways, and in the revelations that had prophesied the return of the beast from both land and sea. Long did the memory of the dark cult lie dormant at the edge of nightmares, slumbering in sleepless sleep, kept alive only in eroded idols brought from beyond the stars that dimmed aeons ago. Think about that part. Let me say it again. It was kept alive in eroded idols from beyond the stars. That's a very ancient tie-in. I think that's another Lovecraft reference. The beings within that mythos would often be depicted as an idol or a statue, as how they're represented to those that are following them, the cults, and the rituals that they perform, be their chosen deity, Cthulhu himself or Azathoth. Then the Hellgate opened in 1099, and the beast stirred from its slumber. Awake once more, it found the world overrun with the hated children of God, and shackled with rules, law, order and morality. But with the Hellmouth spewing its unholy fumes that spread across the world, it swung the balance of power in the favour of the beast. So the presence of the Creator seems to stir it back to life, as it's linked to him. As we have covered on the channel before, there are three beasts mentioned in the Bible in brief: a dragon, the beast of the sea, and the beast of the earth. And remember that line we had? Revelations that had prophesied the return of the beast from both land and sea. That's a reference to the Bible, that's a reference to the Revelations part of the Bible where the beast is mentioned. Remnants of its children, though few in number, prowled from their hiding places to enact a great and powerful plan. They were to go forth and multiply, and their new adherents would come from the ranks of the children of God. Finding converts proved far easier than one might think. The beast found that not all humans were well suited to withstand the grinding pressure and deprivation of the Great War. Grief for lost loved ones and unrelenting fear were ever present to most people. Veterans returned from the front, crippled in mind and body, haunted by the terrors of warfare. Alcohol and opiates offered only a brief respite to those who sought their aid. Hunger and poverty, under the heavy burden of war taxes, sapped many's will to live. In their hearts a great many wished they could forget their troubles altogether and live a life without fear. So when the moon grew fat, the hymns of the feral nymphs could be heard. their siren songs luring many to forbidding forests and desolate mountains where the children of the beast awaited them. Nymphs usually are female nature deities, a living version of some sort of area, be it a lake or a mountain. It comes out of Greek myth, though I'm pretty sure there are equivalents in many other beliefs, and this is just a scrubby version of one of those nymphs, a feral one. None is truly immune to the seductive call of the beast. There is always a seed of doubt in even the most stalwart mind. When the men and women came as sleepwalkers to the idols of the beast, they found themselves surrounded by feral gleaming eyes in the dark and sibilant whispers offering them a choice. Unlike Beelzebub's Black Grail, which takes its victims by force, or the yoke of slavery of the court of the seven-headed serpent, the beast wants mortals to willingly renounce their claim of being the image of God and turn their backs on the promise of salvation. And many willingly knelt before the altars of the beast to become supplicants, the lowliest of the followers of the path. Once accepted, there is no turning back. This, then, is the path of the beast, the unravelling of the cohesion of their bodies and loss of divine inheritance, freed from the shackles of laws and with morals thrown aside, replaced by howling and killing and revelling in joy. The great gift of the beast to its followers is the bliss of oblivion. All past anguish and shame is lost, replaced by the wild thrill of the hunt. The cost is to be beyond salvation and be both the hunter and the hunted, as Votan once said, to wage feral war against orders and laws of both men and God. And just to clarify that reference, Voltan is a character in the Flash Gordon movie, and he says something like, outside his own kingdom, the hunter becomes the hunted. It's one of Ming's laws. Anyway, let's go with the video. Each supplicant, no matter how high or low, is marked by bestial runes carved on their naked skin with obsidian knives during the revelries of the beast as they are initiated to the path. This was mentioned in the Ira law, so it's cool to see it repeated here and expanded on. When the packs of the path gather together, these symbols burn and bleed, reacting to the presence of different runes, bringing forth great and terrible hidden powers within them. A clever pack leader knows how to organise its followers so that they may gain the most suitable dark blessing to be called forth in battle, combining the runes to form words of power. Poetic words maybe, or do they command another type of magic, some sort of natural variant? Each fork of the path leads the supplicant to a different end. Most become half bestial creatures, their will insufficient to take them all the way into full beasthood. They are half-breeds with beasts' heads and claws emerging from their flesh, which they shed as a wolf sheds its coat. They are plagued by the monstrous parasites of the path that fill them with the transformative blood of the beast. Now that blood must come from somewhere, and there is a beast mentioned within the wider demonic lore, but honestly at the time of recording the name escapes me, so I'm just going to push onwards for now. They form into great hunting packs, using both human weapons as well as their claws and teeth as they fall upon those who strive to maintain order. Some advance further on the path through acts of feral frenzy and are able to capture an essence of the beast, a mighty wolf or venomous snake, a great horned goat, or another powerful carnivore. Perhaps capturing this essence is some ceremony linked with the blood of the beast and how you change yourself. Around these great predators, the lesser creatures of the path gather, and in an orgasmic rush of violence they assault the forces of order. Remote hamlets and isolated villages are often targeted by the packs of the beast. Once the path grows strong enough in its area, it no longer hides. Instead it goes to war. Its power waxes great during appointed times, and especially when the moon casts its spell over the world. That's an interesting mention, a little like those of the path have that wolf-werewolf cycle, i.e. they only come out strong during a full moon. But not all areas where the path hunts are in the wilds. No Man's Land is teeming with horrors of the path, who hunt humans for food, for sport, and for the glory of the beast. Packs of the path are led by horned priests, ancient ones who have followed the path for many centuries, devolving ever further from humanity, while still retaining an outer form that can fool most observers. They are known for great cunning and twisted wisdom, able to match even the generals of New Antioch and the pashas of the Sultanate in planning. Their acumen for the mastery of tactics and strategies has given rise to disturbing rumours. There's another race, much like man, but of deeper and subtler wisdom, once roamed the earth before Adam and Eve were banished from the garden. I'll have to think on what that means, who it could be referring to, and I'll bring you that when I have got a lead on it. Now let's finish off the law. Priests claim that they have walked the path of the beast beyond the veil where creation began and discovered the wisdom and glory denied to mortals. Mortals who are doomed to grovel and pray to an uncaring God. So that's the end of this video. It's run a little long compared to my normal ones, but honestly I feel like it could do another 3 pages on this law. There's lots of little subtle references that are very, very interesting, and I've already made a note on a few that I'll follow up on in a future video. Hopefully I can get it out at a similar time to this one. Here's an example of how excited I am about this law. I finished work at 5, I got home at 6, and now it's 22 minutes past 7, and I've got the video recorded. So yes, very excited about it. What do you think to this law? What do you think to the mentions of these different places and different myths and folklore within the law? Do you like it? Would you like less of it, more of it? Give me your opinions. I would love to hear from you. And if you like this video on the Trench Crusade, nearly slipped over that word. If you like this video on the Trench Crusade, then why not try this one?